Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm Jessica Lopez, and this is our preview of Forza Motorsport 4 by Turn 10 and Microsoft. Title exclusively available for the Xbox 360. Comes out on October 11th, and we're lucky enough to have our copy here in the studio. So we're going to tell you guys all out there what you can expect once you go out and purchase this lovely title. Comes with cars from over 80 different manufacturers, and we'll have 500 cars total upon release, with 10 more cars available as DLC once a month, and that's a lot of cars. You can race up to 16 cars on the track at any time. Every vehicle in the game has been re-rendered, and there has been a complete overhaul of the tire dynamics that came with the addition of the partnership with Pirelli. Features in the title include the all-new Auto Vista mode, a car club with a shared garage where you can share your cars with members of your club and they can paint and tune it for you for club use. There's a Rivals mode where you can compete against friends. You can use head tracking when using Connect, and there's a lot of emphasis on the World Tour mode campaign. Players also have the ability to change the time of day, and they can import profiles and liveries from Forza 3. In addition to all of that, game menu can be navigated using gestures or voice, which is pretty darn cool if you ask me. So let's talk about this new feature called Auto Vista. You can walk around the car, you can get inside and take a close look. You can see cars, their wheels up close, the interior up close. These are cars like the McLaren F1 and the Ferrari 458 Italia. You can explore them in every detail, even down to turning the key and starting them up. In addition, you can even listen to an audio tour by Top Gear's Jeremy Clarkson. He'll talk about the car's specs and history in a way that only he can do.
Add in the fact that it liked to bite back in the corners, and what you've got here is actually the recipe for 4.7 litres of total misery. It was a very bad car, and it was ugly. Still, at least it made them try harder with the Enzo.
There's over 10 hours of content and stuff for you guys to see in this Auto Vista mode, where you can look at these cars up close and personal and see every little detail. We've done the honor of putting a couple of videos together, which should be out together with this video or shortly after, showcasing this Auto Vista mode and showing you guys the cars that are available to look at. So for those of you that can't wait, make sure you check out those videos and see what this Auto Vista mode is all about. It's now time for us to take a look at the World Tour Career mode. Here, players will be able to use autocross, time trial events, and Top Gear inspired challenges. Players will be able to gain affinity rewards from different automotive brands every time they win a race, and they can use that for discounts on new parts for their cars. I'm going to go ahead and pass this on over to Darren, and he's going to explain to you more in detail about the career mode on Forza 4.
Hey everybody, so I'm here to show you a quick look through the Play Career mode or single player mode, starting with clicking on Play Career. Before you get into the racing, you had a lot of options to choose from. First up below Go Race is Cars, and when you go into the Cars menu, this is where you will manage your garage for the most part. By going to My Cars, this allows you to change your layout, sort or filter your cars, as well as sell, auction, gift, and even buy setups. Next is Buy Cars, where you can purchase any car in the game as long as you have the in-game credits. Or you can even acquire cars with game tokens that you have to purchase from the Microsoft Store. Next up is Take Photo, that is directly related to the section below it, which is called Change Home Space. When you change your home space, you can then take pictures of it in that environment. Your home space is basically like your desktop or your background. Backing out of the Cars menu brings you back here to the main Play Career menu. Next up, you will find the familiar Upgrade and Paint areas where you can really customize your rides both inside and out. Lastly is the My Profile section. Here you can edit your player card, check your own stats in the game, check affinity levels, store and browse your media such as pictures, videos, or replays. This is also the area you will find an options menu to adjust in-game settings. And the options are plentiful, with the ability to change controller settings, tweak your heads-up display, adjust audio levels, video brightness, figure multi-screen capability, and set up your head tracking if you have Connect. Now that we've checked out the menus, let's get into the racing. Okay, next you're going to click on Go Race. Then you're going to have three options: World Tour, Events List, and Rivals Mode. which is, by the way, my new favorite Forza feature. The new World Tour mode gives you more options than Forza Motorsport 3 did. This time around, you have your familiar tour guide who tells you about the new venues you show up to.
Now we move to the Ladera Test Track, a facility dedicated to the testing of cutting-edge automotive technology.
But this time around, your path is a little more organic. In Forza 3, you had a calendar, and in Forza 4, now you're basically traveling the world to all the different venues. First up on the World Tour is the Amateur Division, and it's 5 races. You start at the Ladera Test Track and get to choose an F-Class car, which is pretty much as slow as it gets, but makes for a great start. Whichever car you take decides the fate of your first 3 events. For instance, if you choose a Ford Ka, it gives you the choice of the City Car event, Ford Ka Spec Racing Series, or the Inline 4 Showcase. If you take the Citroën, for example, you still get the choice of City Car, but the other 2 change to 3-cylinder Shootout and Euro Tour F. This will make the opponents vary depending on your initial car selection. From there, you continue to advance and the seasons and races get longer along the way. Besides races, challenges are included in each division like bowling, autocross, and others. As you progress, the performance index of the cars increase as well as the AI's difficulty. I'm currently up to the professional division that has 16 events that include mostly races in the A to S class cars. I was able to race in my old F-Class modified Datsun 510 though, just by being in that car. So next up in the career mode is the events list, which is basically all the events in World Tour wrapped up into a group of events. I thought that by running all of them you may win a championship, but that wasn't the case. All of them are sorted based on performance index, and some are locked until you advance far enough. Last but definitely not least is the Rivals mode that you can also find in the community section of the game. You need to have an Xbox Live account, and I'm not sure if you need to have a paid account because when I tried to start the account, they have free gold trials going on right now. So if you're interested in trying out Xbox Live, now's the time. Sean's going to tell you a lot more about Rivals mode in his overview of the community and or multiplayer section of the game. So I'm going to let him explain how that all works. Matter of fact, check the leaderboards. My name's in a few of the sections under Darren SRT. So add me as a rival and see if you can beat my times. And that's pretty much going to wrap up everything in the Play Career section. Hope you've got at least a little bit out of it. And I'm going to be back at the end of the show with Sean to tell you some of my thoughts and impressions on this new title from Turn 10, and I'll see you then.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be #1 on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
Welcome back to our preview of Forza Motorsport 4. You guys heard all about the career mode and the Auto Vista mode. Now it's time to hear about the multiplayer mode. Sean's going to talk to you guys all about that and car customization for those of you that want to trick out your ride.
The multiplayer portion of the game goes under the title Community and can be found on the second tab of the menu. It is here that you'll find the aspects of the game that allow you to play with or against others. Now, it's broken into several different categories, starting with Race Online, My Club, Rivals, Leaderboards, Auction House, Storefront, My Profile, and the Message Center as the options going down the left side of the screen. At the bottom, from left to right, you have Top Features, News Feed, File Depot, Rival Alerts, and Car Club Headquarters. Starting off with the Race Online tab. At this screen is where you can quickly and easily find an online match. You have options to find a race or create a race, and you can also invite friends or club members to this screen. When you select Find Race, you will then be able to select the type of race that you're interested in. Quick Match, or you can select it based on any of the parameters, such as the Turn 10 Select, Circuit, Multi-Class, Drift, Motorsport, the Playground, and also user-created races. When you create your own race, you will be able to select the features and control the type of event. And when you click on Create Race, you will have different game setup options, such as public or private, game type, where you can choose from circuit, timed, point-to-point, drag, drift, multi-class, soccer, tag, cat and mouse, and elimination. You can choose a different environment which translates into the track, and within the track you can pick different layouts. You can also choose different track conditions or the time of day. You can choose the max amount of players, the max amount of AI players, the amount of laps, car class, drive type, damage difficulty, which can range from cosmetic to limited to simulation mode, and the collision mode being on, off, or ghost. Regardless of the game type, once hooked up with a race, you will have the ability to select a car, load a setup, change the difficulty, or change the race name or invite friends. You can also scroll over the names and view the player stats of anyone in the race room with you. The next tab down is the My Club tab, and I'm going to tell you, this has already become one of my new favorite features of Forza Motorsport 4. On this tab, you can create your own car club and share your cars, setups, and graphics with your fellow team members. But from there, it's on to challenge the world and put your team against other rival car clubs. When in the car club section, you can create the name of your car club, change your club tag, invite members, change your settings, look at the club rankings, go to the club garage, and look at info or actually quit your club. You can also join a club or enter a club tag there. You can also go to the club rankings tab to see how your club stacks up against its rivals, or in circuit mode, drag, drift, oval, or peer-to-peer. The next tab is the Rivals, and is another brand new portion of the game. The Rivals mode is where you will find an endless amount of challenges that all feed into the leaderboard. In each event, you can pick your rival from the leaderboard and see how you fare against them. When you beat their time, you get their bounty. You will earn plenty of cash for your efforts and propel your name to the top of the leaderboard for all your rivals to challenge. If you get beaten, then you will get a notice letting you know who beat you and in what event. When at the Rivals menu, you have different types of events to compete in. You have monthly events, Top Gear events, Hot Lap events, Time Attack, Track Days, Autocross, and Drift, each with a bounty waiting to be won. Then there is the Leaderboard tab. The leaderboards are broken into several different disciplines: circuit, drag, drift, oval, peer-to-peer, tuner, graphic artist, designer, photographer, director, and it ranks the entire online community in each of those categories. Here you will see how you stack up against the world, as well as seeing who is the best of the best. Something else mostly just carried over from FM3 is the auction house. Here you can buy or sell anything from within the game. You can buy or sell cars, tuning setups, paint jobs, and more. Of course, this uses your Forza credits as currency. There is also a storefront area where you can create your own Forza online store for all of those same items. And the last tab here is the Message Center. In this area, you will find any alerts or messages that apply to you. If a team member has shared a car or joined your team, or more importantly, this is where you would find the rival alerts letting you know that someone has beaten one of your lap times. So as you can see, the multiplayer portion of Forza Motorsport 4 has seen some real improvements, and it's going to take you quite a while to get all the way through it and learn all the new features. Now, another feature of the game that I'd like to talk about is car customization. Customizing the car has always been a big focus of Forza Motorsport, and no different in Forza Motorsport 4. You can take any car that you own and through buying parts, turn what started out as maybe a timid Datsun 240Z and turn it into a race-tuned beast made for tearing up the asphalt of any track. You can tune the motor, lighten the car, buy new wheels and tires. There is pretty much no part of the car that you can't touch or improve. As you make these improvements, you will be increasing the performance index of the car and opening that car up to higher levels of competition. Beyond the obvious performance gains of buying parts for the car is also the additional setup options that will be opened up. Add the race suspension and you'll now be able to make additional setup changes to the car that weren't available before. The tuning doesn't end at the parts that you can bolt onto the car, but also translates into the garage. But the ability to actually personalize your car. You can take your car to the paint booth and hit it with just about any color under the sun. You can add decals, stickers, and other graphics that are available in-game or through the auction house. Sophisticated paint jobs are possible for the truly talented, but just about anyone will be able to add a stripe or graphic to their car.
Tamiya's extensive lineup of radio-controlled vehicles provides hobbyists with the joy of running exact replicas of their favorite car, tank, or off-road vehicle. Another attraction of these vehicles is their use of high-grade materials, such as nylon resin, carbon fiber, and polycarbonate. With precise mechanical systems, the maintenance and adjustment of the various components, as well as performance upgrading with optional parts, allows for truly competitive racing. For more information about Tamiya, visit us at www.tamiyausa.com.
All right, guys, hope you've been enjoying this preview of Forza Motorsport 4. I'm sure there's a thing or two that we missed, but one thing that we didn't miss is gameplay. I put the guys together, and they're going to give you their first thoughts on how the title actually plays. So here's Sean and Darren giving you their thoughts.
All right, well, now it's time for our thoughts and impressions on Forza Motorsport 4 for the Xbox 360 exclusively.
Yeah, we've been following this a long time, so this is a big deal. I mean, it started over a year ago, seeing samples of the game, but now we get to really get in deep and play it.
Yeah, our first look was at E3 2010, where they had a Kinect demo going on, and we saw Auto Vista for the first time.
Right.
And then E3 this year, just incredible.
Where we just got to drive it a ton, but you know, still in a limited capacity.
Yeah, but now we've had it in our hands for a little while now.
Yeah.
Not long enough, unfortunately. Not long enough to give it the full in-depth like we did Gran Turismo. And if you remember with Gran Turismo, we did it in 2 parts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these games are so deep now that to try to review the entire game instantly wouldn't give it justice, I mean, to be honest with you.
So please remember that this is not our complete review. There are things that we haven't seen or looked at, some things that weren't even unlocked, like the price of the tokens. I couldn't even see how much those were. So
Right.
lots still to learn about the game. You know, we just found our favorite mode last night.
Yeah, we've been playing it a while and just finally stumbled across what is now absolutely the favorite.
Well, and I knew, let's just get right into this Rivals mode.
Rivals mode, or the whole multiplayer, but it's the Rivals mode that's got me just staying up late at night.
The racing's, I'm sure, going to be incredible. We had a blast racing Forza 3 with the 8 players, and now 16, and you know, with the ability to set up, you know, different performance indexes and rear-wheel drive only, V8 only, you know, years. And so that's what the Rivals mode is like. And we've been doing that. Like I mentioned in my piece, check, you know, look for Sean is Sean Space SRT. I am Darren No Space SRT. So look for us on the Rivals board.
We're both up on the board. We both kind of taken over certain groups or categories.
Or at least tried to, and hopefully we can stay up there. But
and we're going to get notifications if we get beaten. So if somebody beats my time, I'm coming after them.
Yep. So a great addition to the series, which leads us to the career mode too. New career mode, new world tour look.
Well, right off the bat, I mean, throw out the old calendar that was kind of just real sterile. I mean, it was linear. You just kind of went along. Now you're traveling the world. It's got cool graphics. I mean, it makes it a lot more fun for me right out of the gate.
Yeah, no question. One of my complaints, though, is that it's just too easy. This has not really been a challenge for us. There were some good races, especially as I got deeper into the career. I'm level 32, I think, now, but as we progressed, it has gotten a little bit tougher.
It's true. It's sort of like you need to sandbag in this game, and I don't mean by going in overmatched. I mean, hang sandbags off the back of your car to slow you down.
Which I've done to make it competitive. I'll take an F-class car and race it in E-class. I ran a dual-class or multi-class event, and I was in my little 510 racer. And I was keeping up with the A-class guys for a little bit. I mean, I was like able to stay on their tail, and the AI seemed smart to an extent, as smart as artificial intelligence can be, which I have a little rant about here in a second. And, but they're just not fast enough.
I agree, and it takes leveling up. I thought would do it, but it still hasn't come. I mean, I've yet to have to tune a car in order to win a race, and I'm at level 19 because I keep restarting my career, and I've really yet to lose a race. I mean, it's
without even restarting, without tuning. I mean, so that's a little bit of a gripe there. So how about we get into physics?
That's a good idea. Physics for me, I love the physics of Forza. It very much is a carryover from their lineage, so their driving model still feels like their driving model. There's the affiliation with Pirelli, which you can see they've worked on it, and there seems to be a little bit more going on with the way the car turns in, but the balance of the car is still very much Forza.
Yeah, yes, it definitely is. I pretty much echo Sean's thoughts on that, and I'm going to transition that into controls and that whole aspect of the game and force feedback and that. I like seeing that there's more controllers accessible now to run Forza.
Yes.
You know, at last go around in Forza 3, it was basically Fanatic and the Xbox 360 wheel. Now you have the wireless speed wheel. You have, heck, just watch our buyer's guide that we're coming out with too. But
a lot of options.
A lot of options for you out there, but that leads me into a complaint now. You know, Fanatic is got an officially licensed wheel. But anyway, so Forza accepts the 900 degrees of rotation or sensitivity. One of my gripes is that you're still only seeing 270 degrees being turned on the wheel. I'd rather just have that wheel turned off, to be honest. But then, you know, somebody has come across, and we confirmed it, there's built-in aids, steering aids here that are kicking that car straight, making sure you don't, you know, get it kicked out of control. And I want to see a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
You know, you go into the telemetry data and you're only seeing the wheel turn. You see it turn, you can go all the way 900 degrees or 450 to the lock, and you see the wheel just turn 270.
Right.
You know, I want a 1-to-1. I don't want any built-in linearity, you know, adjustments.
Sure. If I go slow and I turn the wheel 900, it takes full 900 for it to turn 270. If I'm in an emergency situation on the track and I'm sawing on the wheel, which I will do, it will go to full lock when I've only turned the wheel this much. Well, at slow speed, that would have been 900 degrees to get to that same lock. So that's a little weird.
Yeah,
definitely weird.
Yeah, I agree. But doesn't, you know, you just drive it like a real car. This is a console game. They have made it to play with a controller, which works just great. I mean, actually, it's got decent rumble effects that really give you the sensation you're going over the rumble strips and stuff. So, I mean, they've done a good job there of making it compatible for everybody.
Yeah, well, they have. And for a console, they are about sensations, and that carries over to sounds. I mean, for me, Forza 4 has some of the best gaming sounds there are. And little things that I love about it so much are, like, a car will sound one way, and then you start to tune it, and it gets even more ferocious sounding. But they all sound like what I think the car should sound like.
I agree. And then you have, you know, gear grinding sounds. Tire squeal is some of the best I've heard in all racing games.
Yeah.
You really hear that edge of traction sound as you're coming into corners, as that tire is just, you know, coming to the edge of traction, and you hear it just starting to just, you know, just scream. You know, Forza's done a really good job of capturing that moment, and really, it's really helped me in, you know, in braking moments and really understanding what's happening with the car.
Definitely.
So before I forget, damage, dude.
You can't forget about damage when it comes to Forza, that's for sure.
Yeah, they've done a great job. They had a great damage model in Forza 3, and it's definitely transitioned over into 4. I love the sounds that the damage makes, you know, coming from both sides of the car, and, you know, the damage that, you know, you get in the transmission if you miss shift.
That's some of the best in all of sim racing. The thing I like also is the degrees of damage. So, I mean, if you just scrape somebody, you're going to rub some paint. If you bang into somebody, you're going to dent some fenders, and if you smash into somebody, you're going to remove some panels.
Yep.
Another area that I love about Forza is the graphics. And at first when I turned it on, I thought a lot of it looked just like a carryover from Forza 3. But then when I started looking at things like the reflections or shadows on the roof of the car when I was driving through trees, for example, there are a lot of little effects that they seem to have thrown in to make it a little more spectacular.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of effects, force feedback. We talked a little bit about controls. Force feedback, and then we got, you know, we went to sounds, but force feedback, some of the best I've felt on a console. Feels great on the Fanatic wheels. Tried it briefly on the Microsoft wheel. Honestly, haven't got any of the other ones in, the Mad Cats or anything like that, but feels really good. You really can tell what's going on. One of the few games that allows full clutch support.
Yes.
And a 6-speed on the console. And it's probably one of the best modeled clutches I've ever driven.
It is, and you know, the clutch and the 6-speed reminds me of something else. There's no manual in this game, and I don't want to take a lot of time on this, but how would you even know? How would you know? I mean, the wheel controller doesn't show a clutch. It doesn't show the stick shift. And so, for me, these are essentials of this game and something that makes it so wonderful and above many other games.
That's something that was missing. Turn 10, come on, where's the manual, guys? You know, I want to see some kind of documentation that tells me this Rivals mode. I was up till 2 in the morning, and a good hour or two last night was trying to figure out or figuring out that I can tune the car to race in rivals mode.
Yeah, they give you cars, but they're not the best option, so that's a little workaround. You can
check the
build your
restrictions.
car, check the restrictions.
Yeah, check the restrictions in each one of those events. But
use your own garage.
all right, so we don't want to go too long here, so we're going to wrap things up with some final thoughts. I'm going to get onto my rant here real quick, and it's about AI. You know, a lot of people out there complain about how horrible AI is in racing games, and I just want to remind you guys out there of something. Besides programming all the graphics, the sounds, the physics, and all the cool stuff that we love about these racing sims, these programmers are trying to replicate human reactions and intelligence and predictions, and I'm sorry, but that's just not going to happen right now. I mean, you guys just got to understand, this is an Xbox or a PlayStation 3 that's computing all of these, you know, actions and reactions, and you know, cut the developers some slack when it comes to the AI. I started thinking about it the other day. Would you want an AI of any type driving you around town in a car?
Heck no.
Would you want to race against any artificial intelligence out on a real track?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
So take that into consideration. Have fun with it. You know
it's
what?
It's not like autopilot in a plane.
Race online.
Yeah.
So that's my rant. Now, a quick thing about the game. I love it. I think they've done some great stuff. Not a huge leap forward from Forza 3, but they've added some cool features to keep me enticed and wanting to play it. Like I said, I was up till 2 in the morning. Honestly, I'm dying to get back there and play some more. I love being able to play in triple screens.
Yeah.
Going to do actually a piece on this rig, how to set up triple screens, and a little bit about it, show you guys some laps or stuff in it. But those are my final thoughts. It's worth a buy. I would just bypass a rent. If you're a Forza fan, must have. Xbox 360 racing fan, you want to add it to your library, must have.
Absolutely. Where I'm coming from on this, I share your thoughts on this. I love this game. There are so many aspects of the game that I love. It's got so much depth, a lot more depth than Forza 3. So even though on the surface it might seem like a lot of similarity, I'd like to see more tracks. That's one gripe I definitely have about it. The Auto Vista is something that when I first learned about it, I thought, oh, that's cool. It'll be cool for 5 minutes. I watched every single one of them, and to be honest with you, I wish there were 50 more to do. There are 25 that we got to see, and it's not like a standard versus premium. These are cars you can feature. It does not affect anything about when you're driving the game.
Speaking of which, we have those on our other channel. A lot of those, we've put those up for you to check out. They're really cool.
They're fun. I also like, it seems like the latest thing is to jump on Top Gear, throw in your game. I love how much it's actually integrated into the game. So you're not just done with there being a Top Gear track.
They've really done a good job of integrating Top Gear and, you know, making you get a good feel for Top Gear.
Clarkson's in the game. I mean, enough to make it very entertaining for me. I'm a big fan of him.
If you wanted to win at Le Mans at the end of the 1950s, you needed to be driving one of these. The Ferrari 250 Testarossa wasn't just beautiful, it was frighteningly effective.
So that's how I feel about it.
Right on. All right, well, that's going to wrap up our first impressions and thoughts of the game. I'd like to thank Turn 10 for getting us copies of the game, Fanatic for supplying us with such cool gear to check all this stuff out with.
Absolutely.
And hey, check us out on the Rivals board, Darren SRT and Sean Space SRT. Love to do some racing against it. You know, we've got a bunch of people added on our friends list, so unfortunately we can't add any more.
No, but you'll see our names on the board. So.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll see you next time. Well, actually, we'll see you for the next review of this, or the full review.
Full review.
That's going to wrap up our first look and preview at Forza Motorsport 4 by Turn 10 and Microsoft. We hope that you guys have enjoyed it. We do have a full-on review coming soon. That is once we get through the career mode. So hang tight for that. In the meantime, to keep you guys busy, we have several videos out and more on the way, including a Will Buyer's Guide just for this title. You can find all of those on our Forza Motorsport 4 page at our website, InsideSimRacing.tv. Once again, hope that you guys have enjoyed this preview. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Jessica Lopez, and the checkered flag is out. And history of the cars. No, audio chart. Specs and the histories of the cars. Histories. Ugh. Why is it so hard sometimes? The Motorsport 4. Sure. I'm thinking about that thing or two that we missed kind of thing so much. All right, guys, so there's your 4, and we've told you just as tell you about is gameplay. I'm doing one more. to get through the career mode first as we add. One more time. That's the one.